New Amsterdam is a series full of some truly heartbreaking moments throughout. The show has dealt with a myriad of illnesses as well as drama-filled moments. However, many fans are wondering what the most emotional moments have been from throughout the entire series run. So stay tuned as we go in depth on some of the most emotional moments from New Amsterdam. First up, Max's illness catches up with him in the penultimate episode. The first moment in today's video centers around the penultimate episode of the first season, when New Amsterdam originally premiered back in 2018. Showrunner David Schuler vowed to everyone that the series would avoid the other trappings that medical dramas have had in the past. Instead, David found a lot of inspiration in the American medical system itself based on real life rather than in television drama. He was quoted as saying that the hospital is a microcosm of the city, which is a microcosm of the country. No matter what political side you are on, there was a place of agreement within the medical system. This was when the current healthcare system was truly broken down to its core. New Amsterdam as the series certainly brought out a lot of themes to the forefront. In its pilot episode, Dr. Max Goodwin, played by Ryan Eggold, is hired as a new medical director at the New Amsterdam hospital. The scene that made the show go viral was one of the opening moments where he immediately fires the entire cardiac surgery department before declaring that any department that is willing to place billing above care should be terminated. This was a truly shocking moment, and it's pretty emotional when you think about it. All of these pupils had their lives completely turned around by one man entering the room. This shocking moment also introduces all the radical lengths that Max is willing to go in his career. It also brought up his catchphrase, "How can I help?" Still, even after this, New Amsterdam continues to not completely abandon all of the tropes that have made medical dramas one of the most successful genres on television throughout its history. Over the course of the entire series, New Amsterdam has offered plenty of opportunities to tug at the heartstrings of the audience. Now it's against the real meat of the video, as we're going to talk about one moment from the first season that is particularly heartbreaking. The penultimate episode's emotional moment. In the first season of New Amsterdam, Dr. Max Goodwin was originally introduced as an idealist. He was also a maverick in the medical field, meaning that he was committed to making his new hospital accessible to everyone. However, at the same time, the doctor ended up struggling with his own physical and emotional problems and demons. Both of these reached their apex in the penultimate episode of the entire first season, that being the episode titled "This Is Not the End." Throughout the entire season, he has been battling his cancer diagnosis, but episode 21 sees Max at his final point. He hammers home the physical toll that the illness has given him, as well as what the treatment has done to his body. As a result of all of this, as well as an experimental double dosage of chemotherapy, Max is at the weakest he has ever been, and it shows in the episode. On top of mounting all the side effects together that have accumulated over the course of the first season, his eyes are shrunken and he is pale, as well as this he can barely stand. It's crazy to see him at this point, as he can barely run the hospital. He so daily wants to keep going. Even in his weakened state at the penultimate point of the season, Max prioritizes his brand new insurance plan for his family to help patients. This makes all of the rapid deterioration that he is going through all the more tragic for the audience at home. If the double experimental chemotherapy wasn't enough, the penultimate episode ends on a huge cliffhanger that shocked the audience with its devastating implications. When Dr. Bloom comes and looks for Max at his apartment, he opens the door only to find him covered in blood. His and George's baby is also on the way, and it seems that there are also complications regarding that. Nothing is going right for Max, and it all comes to a head in this episode. Whilst one could argue that the first episode of its second season is the most heartbreaking of the entire series, as it marks George's tragic fate, we think that this is not the end. It sets in motion all of these events that led up to her death in the next season. It also sets up the next huge theme of the second season, as we get to see Max's future as a single parent. This all the more digs into the fact that he is a very sick man at the center and can't do everything he wanted with his life. It's a truly emotional moment, and it's one of the biggest parts of the entire show. We had to go into so much detail for today's video, as we think it is the most important emotional moment in all of New Amsterdam. Please let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on this truly heartbreaking moment from New Amsterdam, as well as what you think about the video so far. And now on to some other emotional moments from throughout New Amsterdam. Transplant hell. When it comes to transplants in a hospital, things can get hectic. Sometimes a group of people all urgently need a transplant, but there aren't enough donors to get everybody in a good place. As well as this, there are also other complications with different transplants transplants, but somehow related to other ones as well. In this scene from New Amsterdam, we have Dr. Max trying to figure out a loop of patients and how they can all link together to save one little girl. We open the scene by seeing that the little girl's father can donate a part of his liver to end up saving the girl and give her a long life. All the doctors in the room are very confused as they don't know how a liver could end up saving the life of a girl who needs a brand new lung. However, Dr. Max explains that to save the little girl, all of the recipients and the patients themselves need to reach out to their people and see if anyone is willing to give a lung. The rest of the doctors then question Dr. Max as they are wondering why anyone would give up a lung to save someone else, and then reveals that if one person in the loop gives one of their lungs to the little girl, it helps everybody out as it all loops back around to saving each person in the transplant loop. It's a quite complicated scene and it needs a lot more context by watching the full episode, but when you think down to it, it's truly an emotional moment. The little girl is dying in the hospital and needs a transplant urgently, but the only thing her family can do is donate a liver to somebody else. If this liver transplant goes through, the chain can start and everybody can be saved by the end of it. However, it's truly time sensitive as a few of the patients in the loop are days away from dying. This means that the loop needs to be started quickly for everything to take effect. It's an emotional moment and the episode plays it out beautifully. It also really displays the thought process of Dr. Max as his maverick nature thought this up and no other doctor thought it would work. At the end of the episode, everything works out and Dr. Max is shown to be a better doctor than everybody else. As the main character, it makes sense for him to bring up these sorts of things and try to push the story forward. However, the fact that this transplant loop is so crazy makes the audience think and wonder what's going through his head. In the end, this emotional moment is truly solved and the girl is sorted out and has a clean bill of health. What do you think about this moment? Please let us know in the comments below. Helping a homeless man get off of the streets whilst saving the hospital millions. One thing that isn't often spoken about in these sorts of medical dramas is the idea of homelessness. Usually these doctors and medical dramas deal with everything inside of a hospital and not what goes on outside of it. In one episode of New Amsterdam, Dr. Max is dealing with a homeless man who is often in the hospital for different things. Here is a man who goes around a lot and often pops up in the hospital due to his mishaps. He realizes that this man alone has cost the hospital $1 million in 1 year. This is insane and he is trying to figure out a way to save the hospital money as well as make this man's life better. In the end, he decides on one thing, that being to get the homeless man his apartment. However, he can't do this alone as he can't create a lease because of his title. He then heads off to his boss's room and uses his name and signature to purchase an apartment with the hospital's money. He tells this to his boss and he goes crazy as it makes no sense. However, when he explains everything, it all clicks into place. He explains how this one man was costing the hospital millions of dollars alone, meaning that none of this money was going to other patients and was just going to his care. He realized that if he gets the man an apartment, it will save the hospital a lot more money than they are paying for his care. This also means that the man gets a place to live as well as the hospital gets to put all that money into other patients. He calls this a win-win situation. And his boss still doesn't understand. He continues explaining how the man will not live on the streets and won't have to deal with all of the issues out there, which would lead him to go to the hospital. At the end of the day, this saves everybody and saves the hospital more money than ever. It's an awesome moment and shows how much Dr. Max truly cares about his patients. In terms of emotional longevity, it's a truly beautiful scene and we cannot wait to see what else Dr. Max does in the future. And that's all we have to discuss New Amsterdam's most emotional moments in today's video. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hopefully you enjoyed this latest video. If you did, would you please let us know in the comment section below? It would be very helpful. Make sure to like the video, comment down below, and of course subscribe to the channel with the notification bell rung. Thanks for watching. Bye!